Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome to Posy Lane. If you're brand new here, at Posy Lane, we like to do fun, easy, doable crafts. Subscribe for more crafting videos. May the 4th be with you, is almost upon us. In our family, we love Star Wars. So we're going to be doing 3 fun Star Wars themed crafts today. The first one is a lightsaber pool noodle. The next one is a Holocron graham cracker treat. And the last thing that we're going to be doing is an Ewok Terrarium. I can't wait to get started. I've been wanting to use pool noodles in a craft for a while. I've seen them at the Dollar Tree. It's been there staring at me kind of rudely. But when I knew I was going to be doing some Star Wars crafts, I realized that these would be perfect as a lightsaber. I got 2 different pool noodles, one in green and one in red. Blue would be great too if you can find it. I wasn't able to find blue, but that would be like Luke's lightsaber. Also, we're going to need tape, and I have a couple different kinds of tape, and a lot of them have, if you look at like lightsabers, have a silver design to them, so this duct tape is perfect. Red electrical tape for some of the details, black tape, and that's all we need to get started on this craft. The pool noodle lightsaber, you're going to want to cut it in half, and I measured it. It's 48 inches in total, so when you cut it in half, it ends up being 24 inches, and that way you can make 2 lightsabers with 1 pool noodle. I was looking at some lightsabers that my son has, some toy ones, and I noticed that the hilt, sort of like the handle part, is usually about 1/3 of the lightsaber, so it's going to be about 8 inches. To get the hilt started, we're going to do a silver base with this tape. I'm just going to get 1 piece of tape 8 inches long and wrap it around. I figured out that if you place your tape like this to measure it on a yardstick, you can stick it to it and measure exactly what you need, and it makes it easier to cut out. Looking at this, I think 3 more pieces of tape are going to give us the width of the hilt that we want. When I'm putting the tape on, I'm starting in the same place every time. There's just 1 seam on the back, and there's not a bunch of different seams where it started. I noticed that if I hold and roll the actual noodle instead of the tape, it goes on pretty smoothly. I'm going to cut out 2-inch strips of this black tape and put it towards the bottom, and that will kind of mimic a rubber grip for the hilt. I'm using the width of this tape to kind of act as a spacer, so I can eyeball where I want to put the next strip. I'm going to add a red button around here, and this is definitely dark side inspired, having this red blade like that, and then also this hilt kind of reminds me of Darth Vader's, but not exactly. I want to do a band around here to cover up this seam. I also want one here just to kind of balance it out. So I'm going to cut out 2 8-inch pieces of tape. This is my son's toy, and this is the one I made, and I think it looks pretty close to that. We're now going to do one for the light side. This is green, and I know Yoda had a green blade like this. For the hilt, we're going to do 4 strips of 8-inch tape again, just for the base. Speaking of Yoda, Yoda is seriously one of my favorite characters because he just cracks me up. We'll just be like so hard on Luke and all. I just love him. I've got the base silver on now, and I'm going to do a very similar pattern to what I was doing with the dark side one, but it's going to have a little twist I'll show you in a minute. If you're wanting to do these at a party to make it easier, you could totally make the base first, let them do more of the details on it and kind of customize it however they want it. It'd be so much easier than having them actually put the base on. To make this one look different, I'm going to do the band a little bit lower and make it overlap on this area that's kind of mimicking the rubber grip. I want this next strip of tape a little bit lower, and I see that there's an overlap here from the base, so I'm going to use that as a guide. Same thing as with the last one, I'm just going to add a button now. Now I've got both hilts done, and I love how you can just customize these and they can be different, and now you have a dark side one and a light side one if you want to have a battle. To make the Holocron graham cracker treats, we need some graham crackers. We're going to be using blue cookie icing. You need black decorator icing. And I love that this comes with a decorator tip already built in. Holocrons are cubes, and we're just gonna break this in half and we'll make one side of it kind of like a flat version of the Holocron. And if you're wondering what a Holocron is, it's something that the Jedi used for training. For the base, I'm using the blue cookie icing, and the way this works is you put it on and then it takes a few minutes for it to dry and set. I've made an outline with the blue cookie icing, and now I'm just gonna fill it all in and let it sit. I'm gonna just use this black decorator icing and do a border around the graham cracker. One trick I noticed is you can use a toothpick to kind of move the icing a little bit. And so that's what I'm gonna do to the corners. Now that I have the border on this graham cracker, I'm going to do a diamond shape in the middle. And this doesn't look exactly like a holocron on the side, but it's close enough. My son loves Star Wars. Like, he's seen all of the movies and he's seen Clone Wars and Boba Fett. Ask him any question and he would know the answer. Here are my two holocrons, and I love how simple the design is. So even me, when I'm not that good at doing piping, I can do this design. I'm a little obsessed with the Ewoks. I think they are so stinking adorable. So I'm wanting it to kind of look like their moon indoor, where it had leaves and moss and trees. We're going to need rocks, sand, soil, and then you need a Star Wars figurine, and obviously I'm using an Ewok. You need moss, and then you're gonna need some greenery to go around it. I forgot to mention that I'm going to be using a mason jar to build the terrarium in, and you can use any glass jar, but this is what I'm using. And I'm gonna start with sand, and I'm gonna do different layers on the bottom to add a little bit of interest. As I'm putting it in, I'm just spinning it around to make sure that I have an even level on all the sides. I'm going to add the rocks now, and I'm actually gonna put a good bit of rocks in here so that you can see them when I put the soil on top. The last thing I'm adding is the soil, and I don't want to put too much in here because then it will completely cover the rocks. Now that I've got all the layers, I'm going to add some greenery, and this was just leftovers from some florals I had, but I like the way this looks. It kind of reminds me of Princess Leia, and one of the Ewoks was kind of like hidden down in some fern, one of the movies, and so that's why I picked that for this jar. Now I'm going to add the Ewok because I want to make sure there's room for him before I add anything else. So when I put this Ewok in, and I noticed I kind of have a rock on top of him now, so hopefully he'll stay in place. Now I'm going to add this moss, and I probably hardly need any of this to go in here, but I think it will add just a nice touch to the jar. It's amazing what you can do with some tape and pool noodles. Like, these look a lot like a lightsaber. I love how you can customize it and do all these different details so that all of them are different and unique. And I also love, because it is foam, they could be battling and it's not gonna hurt because foam doesn't hurt that bad. The Ewok Terrarium came out so cute. How you can see like all these layers of sand and rock and dirt. It looks so pretty. And I plan on putting this in my son's room because he has a Star Wars themed room, and this is gonna be a great addition to all his decorations. The Holocron graham cracker treats came out so cute. It's not exactly like the way a Holocron looks, but I think it's close enough to represent it. So I'm really happy with it. And one of my favorite hacks when I'm doing things for different holidays is to use a graham cracker. You're not having to do any baking. All you're doing is decorating, and usually kids love graham crackers. I love how we make kind of different things, like that have different purposes. If you're celebrating May the 4th, you may be wanting to have like special treats and snacks, and then there's something decorative that you could sit out. And then I also have something that you could make with your kids. It's like a fun activity, different purposes for each of the crafts. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I had so much fun, and I can't wait for our next craft.